Hey everyone, welcome to TV Recap. I'm Lance, and this is the recap for Westworld Season 1, Episode 4, titled Dissonance Theory. Now this week gave us a very meaty episode, expanding a lot on the main points and even making the William and Logan plot a central theme. But I want to save that story for last, so let's talk about the Man in Black. Now, it's hard to believe that we went a full week without the Man in Black storyline. But we are back into it this week, and we got some great conversation pieces. We find out that the Man in Black is apparently the head of some large foundation. We get an Old West style James Bond exploding cigar, and we learn that the Man in Black is aware of Arnold, the park co-founder. Now, I think this means that the Man in Black has been around since the very beginning, and I do want to loop back to that in just a little bit. Now, outside the park, we learn that Teresa is taking over the glitch investigations as head of QA, and she goes into the park to speak with Ford about his narrative. Now, in this scene, we get a real sense of just how far ahead of the curve Ford really is, from knowing the restaurant and table in the park that Teresa visited as a little girl, and from how well he cornered her and her position in the conversation. Now, I found two things really interesting about this scene. First, Ford acknowledges that a board representative is already in the park doing an evaluation. Now, could this be the Man in Black? We know that Ford is aware of his presence based on next week's preview, or could it be Logan, who we know is in the park on business? Now, second, Ford's final comment about not being sentimental, I think puts the last nail in the coffin for my theory that he sees himself as a savior of the hosts. I really don't know what he's up to, but the friendly sinisterism of Anthony Hopkins' portrayal is making Ford the most interesting character on the show for me. Now, the host storyline this week focuses on Maeve, showing us how bad her flashbacks and memories are becoming. Now, the most eerie part about this whole sequence is the realization that she can't even remember all of the times that she's remembering her events in the medical wing. We get a great twist on the saloon heist scene from episode 1, and Maeve actually uses Hector to get more information on the shade that she's been seeing. Now, after finally cutting an old bullet out of herself, I think Maeve is beginning to understand the ramifications and effects of dying as a host, and she may start to use that as a way of trying to escape. We'll have to see where that leads next week. Now, finally, let's talk about the William, Logan, and Dolores storyline. Now, this week started much like last week with a conversation between Dolores and Bernard. However, this time it goes much further with Bernard questioning Dolores on her desire to be free. He even asked her to visit the maze to try to solve it. So I think we can start working on the assumption that the maze must represent some sort of test for the hosts. Now, is the freedom at the center of the maze make them like Bernard, assuming that he is a host in disguise? And the strangest thing about this to me is that if Bernard knows about the maze, how widespread is the knowledge of its existence? Now, the previous Man in Black scenes made it feel like the maze was hidden to everyone, including park employees. Now, in contrast, we got a much clearer picture about William and Logan, almost through Dolores' eyes. Now, William seems to be having trouble realizing that the park is not real, or he's actually choosing to completely immerse himself. Now, on the other hand, Logan is treating the park exactly like a game, even going so far as to mention an Easter egg. Now, the split at the end of the episode would traditionally foreshadow some sort of conflict at the end of the season, but I feel like the real conflict is actually going to be between Dolores and Logan regarding her newfound humanity. Alright, to finish up, I'm still utterly intrigued by this show. I cannot wait to get more to dive into. I think this is easily shaping up to be HBO's biggest show after Game of Thrones wraps, and I couldn't be happier with the results that the show is putting out so far. Okay, so what did you guys think of episode 4? Have we already met the evaluator from the board of directors? Is Maeve looking to escape, or is she looking for a fight? And what sort of reaction will Logan's antics stir in Dolores after running in her loop for so long? Alright, that's all for me this week, you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time for some more Westworld.